Hi, we're going to go through a quick warm-up here, something that you could use for your at-home workouts. Could be used before you're going for a walk or a run, or if it's something you just need to move for a few minutes, getting those shoulders, spine, hips all moving, especially after sitting for a while or doing any kind of, if you're at the office and you just need a little break to get those things moving. So we're going to start laying down. So we're going to try and do no props here, so it's something you can do wherever you're at. So I want you just to lay down on your back. Feet are going to be flat, knees are going to be bent. We just want to get that pelvis into a nice neutral position. Shoulders are relaxed and open. And place your hands on your chest and your belly, and we're just going to take some nice deep breaths. So we always want to start with that breathing. And take a nice deep inhale here in through the nose, and exhale out through that pursed lip. As you inhale, you should feel that rib cage lifting and opening out to the top of the room and out to the sides. And as you exhale, you should feel just a gentle engagement underneath that bottom hand as the transverse abdominis kicks in. Nice deep inhale here. And exhale. And then you also want to make sure that you're getting that engagement from the pelvic floor. So as you inhale, you're allowing the pelvic floor to gently press down. And as you exhale, putting in that gentle pull up and in. So only about 15-20%. It's not a hard contraction, just an ebb and flow as you take that nice deep inhale and allow the pelvic floor to lower, and exhale, gently pulling up and in, getting those deep stabilizers kicking in as well. Last deep breath here, inhale in through the nose, and exhale out through that pursed lip. So we're going to go into our imprint and neutral. So in neutral, you should feel the weight in the tailbone. You should feel a little bit of space through that lower spine. And your hip bones and your pubic bone should be in a neutral or parallel plane. You're going to place the fingertip on your hip bone and the thumb on your rib cage. Shoulders are nice and relaxed. You're going to inhale here, and on your exhale, you're going to squeeze those obliques, gently closing that distance between the ribs and the hips. Inhale here to hold. And then exhale, you're going to release back out. Inhale here in neutral. As you exhale, we're using those obliques to gently tilt the pelvis, get a little flattening through that low back. Inhale here to hold, and then exhale, lengthen back those obliques and release back. Try not to use the bum. Inhale here, so don't curl and press and jam the back down. We want to make sure it's just an engagement through those abdominals. Inhale here, exhale, gentle press into the low back, squeezing through those obliques. Inhale here to hold, and then exhale, release back out. One more time here. Inhale to begin, exhale, gentle tilt of the pelvis, use those obliques. Inhale here to hold, and then exhale, release back into neutral. From here, you're just going to place your arms down by your sides, and we're going to go into our hip release. So you're going to inhale, open one knee out, neutral pelvis. Exhale, you're going to slide the leg down, rotate at the hip in towards the center of the body, slide the leg back in. Inhale to open, keep this leg steady. Exhale, rotate out and pull in. You want to keep those hips square to the ceiling. Inhale to open, exhale, lengthen down, steadying this leg, steadying the pelvis, and pull back up. Using your breath, inhale here, exhale, get that feeling of across the front of the hip bones to stabilize. Inhale, come back in. Last one here. And then we're going to reverse direction. You're going to rotate the leg in towards the middle line of the body, open at the hip, pull the knee up and in. Keeping the foot nice and relaxed, our toes aren't gripping, we're not moving from the ankle on this rotation, stirring through that hip joint. Good, rotate in, the last two. Good, and last one. And then we're just going to do the other side. So place this foot down, stabilize through the hips. You're going to inhale, open, keep the pelvis level, exhale, rotate down, and pull up and in. Inhale to open. Make sure you keep this hips. The weight across the back should not change as you open up that hip. Everything stays square to the ceiling, using that control. And last one in this direction. Inhale, open. Exhale, lengthen down. Rotate at the hip and pull back up and in. Other directions. So you're going to lengthen down, rotating the inner thigh towards the floor, and then inner thigh towards the ceiling. Bend the knee and pull back up. Again, keeping that foot nice and relaxed. We're stirring in that hip joint, so the whole leg is moving because of the movement at the hip, not the knee or the ankle. This leg is staying nice and stable, and we're getting that stabilization across the hips. The last one in this direction. Good. Open up and pull up and in. Good. You're going to come on to your front. So hands are going to be underneath of the shoulders. And then your knees are going to be hip width apart and underneath of those hips. And we're going to go into our cat stretch. You're going to inhale here. On your exhale, you're going to tuck the pelvis, pull up and in through the abdominals, round through the upper back. Pull the head down towards the floor. Inhale here. And then start at the tailbone and get the length through each vertebrae, returning all the way back to a nice neutral position. Make sure we don't drop into those abs. They're still active. Inhale here. Exhale, pull up and in. Push to the shoulders around through the upper back. Pull the head towards the elbows. Inhale here. And then exhale, start at the tailbone and lengthen, pulling the ears away from the shoulders to finish in a nice long line. Inhale. Exhale. Squeeze the bum. Press into the chest and round through that upper back. Inhale here. And then exhale, length starts at the tailbone, working your way through each vertebrae and extending energy out through the top of the head. Last one here. Inhale to begin. Exhale, pull up and in. Press into the shoulders, around through the upper back. Inhale here to hold. And then exhale, lengthen at the tailbone. Again, making sure we don't drop into those abdominals, keeping a nice neutral pelvis. Inhale here. Good. And then we're going to come onto our sides. So you want to make sure you may need some head pillows, like, again, for making sure that we have that nice alignment through the neck and the spine. So you want to bring those knees in front of you. You're going to anchor them down, glue them together, shoulders in line with the hips. You want to make sure your head is supported in line with the spine. A little lift those obliques. Palm is going to face down. You're going to inhale here. As you exhale, make sure you move from the rib cage, not the shoulders. You open the chest to the ceiling. Head is supported with your hand. Inhale here. Exhale. Keep those knees anchored down as you go a little further. Inhale here. And exhale, pull in through the abdominals and come back to center. Inhale, raise the arm up. Exhale, open across the chest. Inhale here. Exhale, go a little further. Inhale to hold, anchor those knees down, pull in through the abdominals and come back to center. Last one here, raise the arm up. Let the eye gaze follow along as you rotate back. Inhale here, anchor those knees down, go a little further. Inhale here to hold, pull in through the abdominals, squeeze the inner thighs and come all the way back to center. And we'll just do the other side. So again, make sure you've got head pillows or whatever support you need in addition to your arm to make sure you've got nice alignment. Knees are going to be stacked. Lifting up through the obliques, palm is down, shoulder away from the ear. Inhale, open up. As you exhale, rotate the chest towards the ceiling, supporting that head. Inhale here. On your exhale, anchor the knees down and go just a little further at that rib cage. Inhale here. Exhale, pull in through the abdominals and come all the way back up. Inhale here, making sure the shoulder doesn't open, but we rotate through the upper back. Inhale here, chest towards the ceiling as we go a little further. Inhale to hold. Exhale, pull in through the abdominals and come all the way back. Last one, inhale, raise the arm up. Exhale, rotate back. Inhale here. Exhale, go a little further. Inhale here to hold. Exhale, pull in through the abdominals, squeeze the inner thighs, and come all the way back to center. Good, you're going to roll onto your back. This one you will not need for any head pillows for. You want to pull the heels in a little bit closer towards your bum. Your arms are going to be by your side. Feet are still hip width apart. You're going to inhale here in neutral. On your exhale, go into your imprint first, then squeeze the bum. Press into the heels and the toes and lengthen up through the hips. Make sure we don't pop the rib cage or arch the low back. You're going to inhale here to hold and then start articulating through the spine, one vertebrae at a time, keeping your imprint, keeping the glutes working until the hips come back down, and then you release back into neutral. Inhale to begin. Exhale, imprint first, then squeeze the bum. Press into the big toes and the heels. Reach the energy out through the knees. Inhale here. And exhale, control as you lower all the way back down and back into that neutral position. Inhale to begin. Exhale, imprint. Squeeze those sit bones, toes together, closer together. Keep those legs parallel. Make sure the knees aren't opening or closing. Inhale here. And exhale, control as you come back down. One vertebrae at a time and lengthen back out. We're going to do that one more time. Inhale to begin. Exhale, imprint first, then squeeze those sit bones. You should feel that fold line at the bum and the hamstring. Abs are still engaged. Pull gently on that rib cage. Inhale here. And then exhale, control the return as you come all the way back down. And lengthen all the way back up. If you need head pillows, make sure you grab them, place them underneath of the head. We're gonna bring those palms in facing each other, fingertips towards the ceiling. You're gonna inhale here, separate the shoulder blades away from each other, and exhale, come back just to neutral. So make sure we're not pressing the rib cage or jamming the rib cage down. We wanna make sure everything else in the spine stays the same. We're just pulling those shoulder blades around the sides of the rib cage and back to neutral. The distance between your hands isn't changing. Energy reaches towards the ceiling. You should feel a squeeze across the front of the chest. Last one here. Good, you're gonna come back to neutral, and then you're gonna squeeze those shoulder blades closer together, and inhale back to neutral. Exhale, this time you should feel an openness across the chest. Again, making sure that it's a movement of those shoulder blades and not an arch of the back or the rib cage, so the spine stays nice and neutral. Squeeze the shoulder blades closer to the spine, back to neutral. Last two. Good, and last one. You're gonna bring the hands down by your hips. Abs are engaged so we don't pop the rib cage. You're going to inhale, raise the arms only to where you can maintain that abdominal connection, and then exhale, sweep the arms around. Nice energy out through the fingertips, nice and controlled. Squeeze and pull around. Good. Inhale, raise the arms up. Exhale, press the hips towards the hips. Lift, and last one in this direction. You should feel those shoulder blades moving around the back. Inhale, raise the arms out. Bring them up to the ceiling and then press down towards the hips. Inhale, open out. Exhale, bring them up and over. Same thing, making sure we have that nice abdominal connection. Rib cage is still staying in line with the pelvis. Last one here. Good, and bring the arms down by your sides. And you're just going to turn the palms up toward the ceiling, just opening those collarbones up. You're going to inhale, slide the shoulder blades up towards the ears, and exhale, gently glide the shoulder blades down. Inhale, small range of motion, so we're not shrugging the shoulders up towards our ears. We're just gliding the shoulder blades along the back of the rib cage, and press back down. Last two. Good, and last one. Good, relax those arms by your sides, and we're going to go into our head nods. So when we move from the head nod, you want to make sure we're starting at the base of the skull and the top of the spine. We're not jamming our chin down and towards our chest. You're going to inhale, nod the chin towards the chest. Your eye gaze is going to slightly drop, and then it's going to return back up towards the ceiling ahead of you. Inhale, think of pulling the ears away from the shoulders to get that stretch to the back of the neck, and come back up. It should feel like you've got length through the spine as you reach the top of the head towards the wall behind you, and back up to neutral. Inhale to drop towards your chest, and exhale, making sure we're not jamming the chin down or jamming the rib cage down. We're just tilting the head on the top of the spine. Last two. Good, and last one. Good. And that's it for a general warm-up. After this, you can move into a regular workout. You can move into one of the workouts that we have out online. We will have a warm-up in those as well, or you can move on with your day or the other activities that you have planned. Thanks, and we'll hopefully see you again.